What's going on, housemates? Marcelo here, and I'm recording this video the day after Liverpool's 2-2 draw at home to Manchester United in what was one of the more exciting games that I've seen in a while, I have to say. And it was truly an emotional roller coaster. Obviously United took the lead, and then they went behind, and then they equalized, and then in stoppage time with almost the last kick of the game, they could have won it. A lot of people are putting the blame on Maguire, but I put it on Xerxes for what was a pretty poor pass. If it's on the ground, then he might be able to finish it. But I want to make this video to discuss a little bit more in detail what I spoke about in my post on the Wenger's House Instagram after the final whistle at Anfield. And that was really talking about the fact that in the last month, I haven't checked, maybe exactly 5 weeks or something. Liverpool has drawn 3 times in the league in the last month or so. But we have also drawn on the same match day all 3 times as Liverpool. And so, the draw yesterday, coming a day after our draw away at Brighton, depending on who you ask, it will either make, our draw with Brighton hurt even more, or it restores some faith in our chances of coming back and, winning the Premier League for the first time in 21 years. I am more of the former. I feel that it hurts even more. And I understand why people would say that it restores some faith. I mean, for obvious reasons, it keeps us within reach of Liverpool. But I want us to look at one. Well, so before I go into, a little bit more about that, I put a poll on the Instagram post, and after, under 24 hours, 55% of our housemates said that it makes our results and our draws hurt even more, and 45% of you said that it restores the faith. So a pretty even split there, and I'm not too surprised because I think that a lot of people, it's a bit of both. Like you might not feel just one or the other. Maybe it's a bit of a blend. But for me, if you want to win a Premier League, if you want to stay close in the title race, especially when the league leader has such a big lead, these are the kind of moments where you have to cut the lead down, where you have to gain a little ground. And we just continue to fail to do that. Now, the main statistic that I'm looking at that really hurts, right, is that we have 7 draws in the league this season. 7 draws, which in itself is bad. But when you look at it even closer, 5 of those 7 draws, we were in a winning position. Now, yes, the Brighton game, the first Brighton game, of course, that's an example of where refereeing completely ruins the game, right? We were dominating 1-0 up, shocking second yellow for Rice, and then we were lucky not to. Well, we could have won it still, actually, but Brighton really dominated from the moment that we got the red card. And the Man City game as well, right? We were seconds away from winning that game. But still, at the end of the day, you can't just have excuses for everything. We've dropped, what would that be? 10 points from winning positions, right? So it's hard to look at those numbers and still feel like it's our year, like it's our season. Now, I will say, right, there is a scenario where things can still align, because you look at the away games that Liverpool still has to play. We've already played our away games at, I think it was like the top 7 clubs in the upper half of the table, or 8 clubs or something like that. So we've already gotten a lot of the hardest away games out of the way, and Liverpool still has to play most of those games. And Arsenal's been hit with injuries throughout this first half of the season. Illness has come over us in the last couple of weeks. The suspensions, blah, blah, blah. So there is a scenario where Liverpool drops a bunch of points in these tough away games, and just kind of like it was last season where we went on a near flawless run, you could hope in theory that, the likes of Mikel Merino are fully integrated into the squad and clicking. We have a fit back line, right? Ben White will soon be back. Tomiyasu, reappears from the depths of who knows what. Um, Saka maybe can come back for the last month or two of the season. So it's not impossible, right? But for me, it is more a case of looking at those three draws that Liverpool had and the fact that we weren't able to capitalize on any of those occasions. It's very hard for me to be optimistic. And I'm a pretty positive fan, I'm an optimistic person in general in life as well. So I think it says something for me not to be on board with it yet. But yeah, so, this second half of the season is going to be grueling and it's going to be really tough. We have 7 games left in January alone. Um, and, we have the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup all in the next week as well. Newcastle tomorrow, of course, in the Carabao Cup. I haven't even really spoken about the Newcastle game. And to be fair, I'll probably post a separate video tomorrow previewing the game. So, yeah, a lot to consider when we're talking about Arsenal's chances this season. And it's not all doom and gloom, it's not all over. But, you know, I think that a title winning team should not be dropping so many points from winning position. And even the way that we play at times, it's just not good enough. Now, again, it's funny because even I fall into this I slip into this reactionary state once in a while because the Brentford game was only a few days ago and only one team had won away there this season. We won fairly comprehensively, right? And then for this Brighton game, Odegaard apparently was ill. Havertz was entirely absent from the squad. Martinelli apparently was ill, or I don't know why. I think he was ill as well. Saka obviously out. Waneri got injured at halftime. Um, and Partey had to play right back because Timber was, and then the fatigue started to set in, I think in part because of the illness, the second half. I was very, very angry about our second half performance, and I still stand by that, but I do think maybe I did overlook the factor of fatigue and how genuine a factor that was in us clearly, taking our foot off the gas. So, it's not all doom and gloom. We are not in a shockingly poor run of form by any means, right? We're in a decent run of form. It's just that it just harder. It's harder to feel that way when Liverpool is dropping points, and we are as well. So, you know, I'll leave it at that for now. I just wanted to give my 2 cents about where our season stands. We got to go all in on the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup because we need to win something. And I'm still proud of this team. I love this club. I love Mikel Arteta. I love these players. But I do think it is clear that we do have a lack of quality and depth. And we still need a killer, man. We need someone who's just going to make something happen out of nowhere. I think Isak is the perfect player for that. Mateus Cunha is capable of that as well, but I don't know where he would fit in our starting 11 right now. I don't know what position he would play in. Who would he bench? I don't think it's a realistic move. And apparently he's about to sign a new contract anyways. So I don't think that, I mean, that was never really going to happen in January. I at least highly doubt it was going to happen in January. So anyways, I'll leave it at that for now. I'm going to be starting to make a lot more YouTube shorts as well. And I'm going to get back on TikTok finally. I'm really going in all in this year with content. I'm done sitting around, and I'm not sitting around anyways, obviously, like I still have been posting consistently on Instagram, but I want to expand, man, because this is the year we get after it. So for anyone who's watched this whole video, thank you. But if you have a dream, if you have something that you want to get done, just get started. There's no one stopping you but yourself. And there might be days where you feel like you shouldn't, or you don't want to do something, you don't have the energy. You don't want to burn out, but can't keep making excuses. I've made my fair share of excuses, and now I'm ready to just see what happens when I go all the way in. So I hope that inspires you in some way, shape, or form. Either way, though, I will be back tomorrow with a preview for the Newcastle game. So until then, come on, you Gunners. Peace, everybody.